All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my weekly review for this week's episode of The Walking Dead television series. In this one, we're going to give our thoughts on The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 3, Ghosts. Alright, and spoiler warning, if you guys have not seen this episode yet, you're going to want to watch it before you watch this review. Awesome, man. So I got a chance to see the episode now. Again, Premiere kind of messes it up. It's been up for, a couple days for a few people. A bunch of people watched it on Friday. I'm just going to mostly publish the review Sunday night as per usual for most of us who get to watch it kind of at the regular kind of release schedule for Walking Dead. And people were saying this is the best episode of the season so far, and yeah, it probably is. I mean, considering the first episode was a premiere, for this to just be a regular episode, like a third episode, I thought it was really amazing. This is sort of a kind of a character spotlight episode in some ways for Carol, but there was so much other cool stuff they did in the episode too, right from the beginning, right up to the end, that I thought it was just a really cool episode. And they did some really interesting things here that we've never really seen them do before with The Walking Dead. After 10 years, it's going to be difficult for them to kind of find different ways to tell the story and different ways to keep things original and keep them kind of nuanced. And this one, I think, did it because you had basically what was like a 50-hour or so, 49 plus, sort of zombie herd kind of onslaught of marathon of them having to kill off wave after wave after wave after wave of walkers as they go through time. They've been using kind of like the titles this season, like black and white titles of hour 1. You start off the episode hour 2, hour 4, hour 6, and you're going through hour 11, hour 13, and you just get wave after wave after wave after wave. And it created quite a cool kind of sort of feeling as you're watching the episode through of just this kind of marathon in a couple minutes that Aaron, Daryl, Carol, everybody else kind of had to go through of just this onslaught marathon of one after another after another after another as they have to kill down these walkers that they think at first Alpha is kind of sending through for them. But then later on, Eugene kind of brings up the concept of, well, they probably started to kind of head this way because of the satellite. And so that could actually be what's been causing them to come through. If Alpha wanted to wipe them out, she could just bring her mega herd through, and it would just crush down everything pretty much right away. She wouldn't need to send them in kind of waves and kind of mess with them in this way, or would she? So at least Gamma denies it. She says that no, that's not her, and Lydia kind of follows suit to say that if it was what she wanted to do, that they would have been dead already. So you see all that go through. We get the intro, and I just thought that was so cool how they did it in this episode. Again, it's something new that they've never done something like that before, and it just created sort of a really cool kind of feel for it. You'd almost want to see some more of kind of those hours go through, like maybe make a whole episode like that. But, again, they're doing so much in the Walking Dead TV series that's just like an intro sequence to the episode. Like, that could have easily been a whole episode by itself of seeing these waves after wave after wave come in. But that's just kind of like a subtext to what's going on in the episode, or like a subplot. So we have all that go through, and then we have Gamma who comes and gives them the information that they got to go to meet with Alpha. And we get to see in this one that they really are sort of under Alpha's thumb. And even though we saw the stuff happen last season with kind of the border, the Pikes, the Red Fair, and everything like that, it gives you kind of a vibe that they're sort of like they've kind of surrendered to the Whisperers, or they're kind of under them, so they have to sort of go along with what the Whisperers want them to do. They have to abide by Alpha's wishes. And even at the point where Carol pulls out the gun and tries to shoot Alpha, which was a really close call, the others and Michonne stop her before she's able to do so. So you get some really fun scenes here. Alpha is pretty scary as she approaches the others and talks about them needing to be punished. And then kind of in a subtle twist here, she actually says no bloodshed. So she decides not to punish them, and mother to mother, she forgives Carol, I guess, sort of, but kind of not really, right? Maybe politically she does, sort of, as Carol tells her that she doesn't, that she's not afraid of her, and then Alpha kind of starts talking some serious trash to her, saying that your boy screamed your name, And wow, it was just a really exciting face-off. And then later on in the episode, and again, they've done some really interesting things in this episode to where you're not exactly sure what to think. Was Alpha filtering or guiding the walkers into towards Alexandria? Was that just because of the satellite, like Eugene says? We're sort of in the dark on that one too. I'd lean towards probably it just being the satellite and actually them being correct and Gamma telling the truth that Alpha's not doing that. But you sort of have an element here to where you're not sure, right? Because there's the possibility that maybe the Whisperers have been kind of doing this, and that's why Gamma just sort of kind of walks up, because maybe they did have something to do with it. But it could also be the paranoia that everybody's kind of experiencing. So I'm going to go with, and you guys can certainly leave your comments below. Maybe they'll go into this on Talking Dead and explain it a bit more. But I'm going to go with the idea that the satellite and the fire actually were what caused them all to come in, and that Gamma and the others, Lydia aren't. Well, Lydia would know, but Gamma isn't lying, and if Alpha wanted that, she could have. So I'll go with that for now, unless we hear kind of otherwise. But there's a few things like that in the episode that are kind of sort of like you could kind of go both ways on. For example, with the parts with Carol in this one, which were really well done, which were really cool, sort of kind of the typical way to go would be, you have her slipping into these hallucinations that she's having. She's seeing ghosts, which is the title of the episode. And I love that they brought back the actor who played Henry for this one. That was really cool. Very horrifying, very scary to see. And then the part where they're in the gymnasium and in the school and everything, and they're just kind of trying to find a place to rest, and you had some whispers coming through. No one believes Carol that the whispers were kind of there and kind of sort of stalking her. And so the normal way to go with this one would be that you go it through, and it's sort of revealed that it's not real, and that she's seeing these hallucinations, and the whispers are not kind of stalking her, right? But at the end of the episode, it's revealed that no, that's not what they're doing, and that's a lot of what you see right now with The Walking Dead with the current direction. Is that it's very smart. It's not so simple to what you would normally see, where normally, okay, you think this is real, then you find out it's not real, and that's your kind of your twist, right? This goes back both ways. So at first, you're sort of coming through here, and you think, okay, she's seeing things, whatever, so that's a twist that she'll see things. And when she's in the gymnasium and you see the stuff going on, you're under the impression that, okay, this is just her hallucinating, and don't dead open inside or whatever. This is just part of Carol's imagination, and that's kind of what we're seeing. It's horrifying, terrifying. This whisper is like messing with her and avoiding her when she's trying to take a swipe at her, when she gets kind of caught up in the rope, and the other walkers that are coming in, which would have been a brutal death if when she screams for Daryl and he doesn't come right away, if she wasn't able to fight her way out of that, it would have been absolutely savagely brutal death to be eaten alive as you're hanging upside down by walkers, and you have this whisper there that's kind of messing with you and avoiding your swipes that you take at you're taking at her. And then, of course, in the episode, it's kind of a nice twist at the end that, no, that part that you thought, you were led to believe, was a hallucination sequence that seemed kind of unreasonable, that she'd get caught up in this thing and then these walkers would come in but nobody else would see it. No, that part was real, because you see the walker at the end that did get shot, that didn't miss, and it turns into a zombie after the set of the time, because it got shot in the center and not in the head or anything. So that was a really cool kind of way to kind of describe what we're seeing right now with The Walking Dead. It's freaking smart. It's smarter than ever, right? When you think that Carol is kind of losing it, she's seeing these hallucinations, all this stuff, which she is. But then it's revealed that kind of the part at the end that you thought, as you're watching it through the first time, or at least I did, was a hallucination, is actually revealed later on to no, the Whisperers actually were stalking her. They were actually coming after her. And even though nobody believes it or whatever, Daryl's like, hey, he believes her even if he doesn't, right? He's kind of agreeably believing her because he doesn't want to go against it, and he kind of feels sorry for her and everything like this. No one believes, no one is kind of there, but of course they would have seen in the gymnasium all the bodies, and they would have seen all that from the walkers and everything. They didn't see the Whisperer there that was kind of messing with her or messing with them. But it almost gives you the sense that Alpha, even though politically she's saying, okay, no, there will be no bloodshed, whatever, and she forgives her, right, mother to mother, but then she sends her her guys after her to kind of do it in a Walker type of way, to where it can't come back to her afterwards, because it's like, well, Carol just got bitten by some walkers or whatever, or she got so tired that this just happened, and that's how it is. So it kind of brings you back to sort of the part earlier with the waves that are coming. It's like, oh, it's not me. So let me know what you guys think on this one, and we'll review this week and kind of update this later on after this review and everything. We get more info. But do you think that Alpha was responsible for the Walker waves coming in? As sort of like a cat playing with the mouse before it catches it, right? The cat kind of messes with it and then it gets it. So with Alpha and the whispers, is it that she's messing with them, moving her border up, letting them kind of fester and kind of go crazy before she wants to go after them, rather than just sending in her megahertz all at once right away and just doing it that way? She's kind of wearing them down over time. She's doing all this stuff. Is that true, or is it no? Is Eugene right? And it's just a satellite in the fire, and that's not what she's doing at all. Leave your comments below because I want to hear what you guys say, because I think just based on what's in the episode itself, it could be seen either way. I will still, for now, lean to it probably wasn't the Whispers guiding them in, and Gamma wasn't lying. It's just something that's happening because of what started off in the first episode. And that's a lot of what we're also seeing with the current kind of direction with the Kang era of Walking Dead, is that, when the seasons start off with the premiere episode, it's just a start to all these things coming afterwards. These seasons don't start off with some kind of big finale or big bang or something like that, and then start from there, like season 7 premiere, season 5 premiere, stuff like that. It's like the seasons start off just getting things running with a certain element that's going to, like the satellite in this one, that's going to carry through the season. So I loved all the stuff. Felt really sorry for Carol in this one because this is like her episode with it being called Ghosts. Was really happy they got Henry to come back, and you get to see the household economics, and you see the cover, and it's like all the family and stuff. Then she wakes up, and then she doesn't. So usually I hate sleep or hallucination, nightmare, dream type of episodes and stuff. Z Nation, for example, did one, and it was awful. They kept going back and forth. It was just torture to watch it through. And sometimes that's the case, with a lot of things that do kind of those type of episodes where you do no, it was all a dream type thing. Usually it's terrible. So I liked in this one that instead of going that usual route, they actually did the opposite, and they went a route where no, it actually is. It makes you think it's a dream, and that's a twist because it actually isn't, or at least parts of it aren't. So I loved all the stuff with Carol. I like Daryl's support for her in this one, and man, that was really cool. So as far as all the zombies coming in and them kind of all getting tired and everything like that happening, with it being kind of a marathon sort of feel, it made me a little bit tired watching the episode and kind of just feeling for everybody and just being like, oh my god, this is such an endeavor to go through. What a struggle for them to go through, and for them to get that kind of impact in one single episode is quite extraordinary, considering the way that they used to do it in Walking Dead. That type of thing would be several episodes or would be a whole season, and they're condensing it into one. Also notable to mention as we should go through here is that Alpha seems to always be watching, or Alpha seems to have known that they went across the border 3 times. I also think the way Sadiq is acting as well too, and he's kind of distancing himself from everybody, he's sort of in the middle. Is it possible that, well, he does have PTSD, or he does have shell shock, as Dante kind of points out later on, but is it possible he could be kind of snitching on the others and kind of tattling or telling? Because it does seem unusual that Alpha would know about specifically every time that they went over, and she says we're always watching. Is it possible they have a snitch in their ranks? Is it possible that Sadiq could be it, and he could be giving Alpha information, or is that totally off base here with that sort of a Stockholm Syndrome type of deal where he's so absolutely terrified of her, he's switched sides, maybe an inside sort of kind of person. So giving that information across, maybe that's something they'll use later on, and we'll have to see if that's true, or maybe there was just whispers that were watching in and around that happened to see them cross the border during those times. But I think during the winter episode, I don't think we saw, as viewers, any whispers watching them as they crossed during the winter time. So I don't think we also got the sense they weren't even there. So it is very possible that we could have someone giving inside information to the whispers from the survivors, and my most likely candidate for that would be Sadiq, even though if that happens, they'll probably all blame Lydia, even though it's not Lydia, and she probably, she wouldn't do that, especially after Alpha cut Henry's head off. That's brutal, man. Bitch has to die. I like that one, so that's good. Also, love the stuff in this one with Aaron and Negan, even a part where Negan refers to him as, or what, cowboy. So that's kind of cool, kind of cowboy, sort of like as John Bernthal Shane would call Rick and stuff, like, you look like shit. So I like that sort of they kind of play off on that in this one with Negan saying that to Aaron, kind of re-solidifying that we might be seeing like a Rick 2.0 for Aaron in this episode, which was really cool. And I just liked all the stuff with him and Negan as we went through the episode here. It was cool that he got kind of the stuff in his eyes that he couldn't see, because you have these walkers with like weeds and stuff growing out of them. So what did he say, hogweed or something like this? I just thought at first he had blood in his eyes, and sort of a comic book moment here in a way where Negan actually saves him, which in the comics they did do that with Rick and Negan saved Rick. So in this one, it's sort of like we're already maybe, depending on how you want to interpret it and look at it, we're already maybe seeing parts where Negan is helping, kind of saving our Rick 2.0, which is now Aaron, which is pretty cool, and referring to him as Cowboy and stuff like that. So I liked it. I thought it was really cool to see him use the hand, like the bash hand. So that's awesome, right? Fits you well, that type of thing with Negan and Aaron. So I did like that. That was really fun. And seeing it go through, expecting Negan to kind of run off given any opportunity. And in this one, he actually doesn't, which was pretty cool. We did see that like last season already anyway. So after what we saw with Negan last year, it makes a lot of sense that he wouldn't really be interested in leaving right now unless he's going off to do something. And we had a cool face-off between them with the mention of Eric's death, and then Aaron responding about Negan's wife afterwards. So it was fun. I liked all the stuff. Lots of zombie kills in this one, even though I would say there weren't too many of them that impressive, but there were some that were pretty cool, and it was fun to see most of the way through. So good stuff for Negan and Aaron. Looking forward to seeing more from Negan this season. And the crowbar kills were fun and that kind of stuff. Sort of like he didn't find a baseball bat, but a crowbar is not bad, right? So that's kind of cool. As far as the other stuff, there's the part with Daryl and the trucker thing with Carol, which is kind of sort of revealed afterwards to have been a hallucination for Carol. So he's like, what? Like, he's kind of losing it, but he still trusts her too, and he did see all the bodies over there. So, but they didn't see the whisper that she had shot after it kind of ran out, that she still managed to hit anyway. So, which was really cool. But a lot of the scenes were really scary. It played like a horror movie, which considering how the whispers are, you almost feel like this is more fitting than ever for what you would expect for some of the different things that the Whisperers could do. I'm still unclear on the waves of walkers coming in and if that's an alpha strategy or if that's just something that happened. Let me know what you guys, again, I want to see what you guys think because I want to get down to the bottom of that one too. Was it orchestrated or was it just a natural happenstance? We've never seen anything like that before, except, there was the helicopter with Beside the Dying Fire, the season 2 finale, where it goes over and then you see the huge walker herd kind of eventually end up there. But we haven't seen like waves and waves and waves and waves and waves after hour after hour after hour after hour up to the 50 hours type of range. We've never seen something like that before. So is it possible the game is just lying and that Alpha's absolutely been, coordinating these things through? So it brings in some good questions. But that's how smart The Walking Dead is now, man. You have these different layers. You have 50 hours of zombie herds coming in being a sub, like a subplot to the episode. So it's just like something else that's kind of like happening in and around, and having like a spotlight episode in an episode like that. Very dense and just a lot of things happening here. And so I absolutely loved it, even though like parts of it did make me kind of sad. I felt for Carol, of course. We got to finally see sort of her psychological state start to sort of deteriorate after her family. You see in the thing, everybody, even back to Sophia and saying like just everybody she's lost through a time here, so many of them, and then recently Henry being like, like maybe a Sophia 2.0 for her, and that just being like too much, right? And if you think back to Sophia, like Daryl was there, he was the one who grabbed her when she came out of the bar and everything like that. So it's cool to see kind of him being there for her and everything like that. There's also parts here and here with Rosita and Eugene, and finally Eugene finds out that their relationship is merely a friendship, and from his perspective it's built on a lie because maybe he always thought that they would whatever. But Rosita's got too many dudes. There's too many dudes, man, in and around. So, so in terms of the score for the episode, man, like I said, the only thing this episode for me, maybe, the only thing was it like, it did make me feel tired watching because I felt for them, so I kind of felt like, it kind of felt like a bit of drudgery to watch it through, and it was scary and it was shocking and everything, but that's just because, I guess for me, I kind of get in the mindset of where they're at that time in the story. And so that made it a bit of a chore to see them go through. It's like, oh, man, they go through all this, right? So in terms of fun factor, it didn't have that much of the way in fun factor, but, it had the horror, pretty much better than ever, I want to say. Whispers maybe being the scariest villains we've ever seen in the series, probably the most terrifying villains ever. So as such, there probably shouldn't be too much fun factor in dealing with a group like that are sort of like the boogeyman that can come out and, kind of mess with you and do stuff like this. And we really get the sense that in this one that maybe we're getting to see some more advanced Whisper strategies, but even that we're not even, and Daryl and the others as well too are not even sure of. But man, that was really cool. So I'm going to give this one a perfect 10 out of 10. I thought it was basically a perfect episode. It was great to see kind of their struggle, things go through here. It was incredible for Carol. And even though, as everyone's kind of arguing, Daryl says to Michonne that he would have been proud of that, referring to Rick. And even though the show, obviously Carol looks a lot older. Daryl is older now too, everything like that, which does kind of make me sad. But it's the best case scenario that the show's still going long enough for the stars to kind of start to get older and stuff. And it's not just Sophia, but it's like this, it's like, all these different people, Sam and Henry, like the Carol is kind of taken in because she's this motherly figure in the zombie apocalypse and people are losing their moms. So it does make sense that the youngins would gravitate towards her. And even though she tries to distance herself, it just happens anyway. And then eventually she loses them. So definitely reminding us of why Carol's one of the stars of the show. So I thought it was basically a perfect episode. I loved it. People saying the best episode of the season so far. Yeah, probably. The premiere was good for what it was. But this episode was really crazy. Ghosts, man. Showing that The Walking Dead can do really good horror and really, really do some scary stuff. And, the Whispers being sort of a big part of that with some really cool kind of things going on. So let me know what you guys thought about the episode. And the biggest one, do you think Alpha's responsible for the waves coming in? Or is that actually just a satellite and really she had nothing to do with it? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. You can't really, don't trust me, right? As Gamma comes and says that. It's like, well, you can't trust with it. That doesn't mean anything just because Gamma says that she didn't do it. it's like that's useless for her to say, oh, she didn't do it. It's like a satellite. It's like, well, that makes the premiere make more sense than it would be, so I'll go with that for now. But not because Gamma says it. That's like, that doesn't mean anything. It's kind of like, it's sort of like when Alpha says to Carol that, mother to mother, we'll let it go, whatever. And then you got these Whisperers messing with her and stalking her afterwards. So let me know what you guys think. If you like the video, please, thumb it up below, share, favorite it. Enjoying the weekly episodes back on again, guys. This is the third one. We still have, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 left. But these first few have been really good. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how the season kind of shapes up. And just really impressed by the current direction and all the different things they're doing. Just jam-packing episodes, all kinds of different stuff. It's like, definitely not getting lazy, that's for sure, after 10 years. That's it for this one. I'll see you guys again soon for another. As always, this is Trev, and I'm saying peace later, guys. See you soon.